In this video, I'm going to label some group pictures. We're going to use the following data. What matters is the grouping. So it's a bunch of images where we have a grade and a class and a campus. You don't need a campus, but these are three ways of thinking about groups. After that, it's just naming and student number and contact information if you want it. So the way to think about grouping is at a school, the closest group, group one, might be a homeroom or a teacher, as in Miss Jones. A bigger group would be, let's say, all of grade 6 as opposed to 7 or 8. And then a bigger group again might be the building or the campus that they're on. I haven't seen many examples of this, but you could do it, having a campus for a school. These things map to sports. For example, if you were dealing with a football team which had divisions based on age, you might be looking at the 12U as opposed to 13U or 14U, 12 years and under, which is an example of a division. If you ask parents which team their kids play for, they might say, well, they play for the Patriots. More accurately, they play for the 12U team, which is part of the association for the Patriots. And they might have the same brand applied to, or the same logo or the same, outfit applied to a bunch of different teams. And then all of that might roll up, for example, into a conference or a region or a league, depending on the scale of organization you're working with. The same thing applies at businesses. You can imagine that the closest available group might be a QA team, just a group of 6 people that work together within a department, within a division. So the closest group is group 1 and the furthest is group 3. So that's how these are going to get mapped, the grade, class, and campus. So let's head into the workstation. And we're going to work with a school that currently has no data at all. So I'll choose the CSV that we were just looking at. Here we get into the group 1, 2, and 3. The closest group is the class, Mrs. Jones. A slightly larger group is the grade, and a slightly larger group again is the campus. You don't need to include this. You could just leave it off if you like. Yeah, let's import that. And now it's time to label the groups. So I've already chosen the folder which contains the group photos, these 4 images here. That's all we needed to do. I don't need to label them or anything like that. Under the immediate actions, turn on write group captions, and I don't need for this demonstration any long-term archives. So I'll just go to that folder so you can see what happens. When I say start, it will create folders for the group, and then you'll begin to see the output showing up. So Mrs. Jones was the first group that we found. Just by looking at faces, we figured out that all of the kids were in that group, and we have a sidecar file which has the same stem, Mrs. Jones 0001 .txt, which contains the labels. It says Mrs. Jones, 3rd, 2nd, and front row. If we don't know who somebody is, like the teacher, then we'll say so. And if we're aware of the fact that Gail Phillips is in Mrs. Jones's class but wasn't found in the photograph, then we'll say as much. And that was done for all 4 group photos.